Hi everyone, welcome to video 2 in my free 4-part video series talking about money for photographers. So a huge thank you firstly to everybody who's sent me emails telling me about what's going on with their money and for the comments that you've popped on the places these videos have been posted. Really appreciate it. So today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about having the confidence to charge your worth, which I think can be a huge challenge for many of us as photographers. So yesterday's video, we talked about getting to grips with your money, which is a really important starting point to have a foundation for what you're charging. So if you didn't watch video 1, do go back and watch that and just listen to some of the tips I shared about really getting to grips with your finances, because having a good financial base is crucial for you to build a really successful business from. So, charging your worth, what does that mean? So in my humble opinion, charging your worth is being able to charge an amount for your photography services, whether that's an hourly fee, whether that's packages, however you work it, that covers your costs and adds on a little bit of profit for you. We've got to have a profit factored into the work we do so we can reinvest in our businesses, whether that's kit, whether that's training, whether that's redoing websites, all of those things. There needs to be some extra money there, and you're allowed to make a profit. What charging your worth is that amount, and offering a package price that's a fair value to your client, so that your client also feels entirely happy with the amount they're paying you for the work you've done and for whatever else, whether you're adding prints or products, whatever else they're getting with it. It's about having a fair exchange. What charging your worth is not is ripping clients off, of overcharging or trying to make as much money from your clients as possible. Because what happens when you take that approach to it is you will not have repeat business from clients. Seth Godin, who's one of my favorite marketing authors, I've got quite a few of his books, talks about in his book, This is Marketing, which I highly recommend, that people will never complain about paying too much for something that they love. So it's worth bearing that in mind when you're kind of working your packages and you're thinking about your photography offering. So it's key, and what I teach with my clients and what I really encourage with my mentoring clients and in my own business is that we should be cultivating relationships with our clients. Our businesses exist because our clients book us for doing work. No clients, no business, right? So you've got to look after them, and you've got to make sure that what you're offering is of great value to them, as well as being entirely fair for you as a photographer. Because when work is exchanged in a very positive and fair way, everybody wins. You have a great time at your shoot. When you have a great time at your shoot, you're in your creative flow, you're making your best work, and you will automatically have super happy clients. So just something for you to think about. So how do we go about charging our worth? What does that mean in practice? So the first point here is we've got to have an understanding of why we're charging what we're charging. Why have we come to the amounts that we're charging? It's not just a case of plucking a figure out of thin air and saying, cool, that's what I'm going to charge. Because you'll find it's very difficult to deliver that confidently, especially if it's a slightly higher number, to your clients when there's not really any science behind it. I know we're talking about art as creatives, we're always arty, but we do have to have some logic in here somewhere. So the quickest way for you to work through this is to go to my bio and download the Ultimate Pricing Guide for Photographers. It's a free PDF that I've put together, which will walk you through step by step how to go about getting a baseline costing for what you charge for your photography work. Once you've got that, you can start to build on it and see how you can add profit on and add value in for your clients. So it works for everybody, and you've got a stream of clients coming in to book you. So that's a really that your cost of business is your starting point. How you brand your business will influence what people perceive your value to be. I'm going to talk a lot more about branding in video 4 because it's a huge topic here, and I only have just about 10 minutes here. So your branding will influence it. So no matter how good your work is, if it's presented on a very homemade cheap looking, not very well functioning website, people won't be prepared to pay that much for it if you compared the same work presented on a much more beautifully designed, slick looking website and marketing material. That influences what clients will or won't be prepared to pay. So your branding is a very important piece. Again, I'm going to elaborate a bit more on that coming up. And the quality of your work will obviously affect what you're able to charge as well. But thankfully, it's really easy to make that better. So if you're just starting out and you've got 5 shoots to your name, you aren't going to be able to charge as much as someone who's been working as a photographer full-time for the last 5 years and has had work regularly published in national magazines. So it's just not going to happen because their work is very likely to be of a higher standard to yours, and they've got a hell of a lot more experience behind their name as well, which also counts for quite a lot when we're looking at charging our worth. So, but how do we go from just starting out with 5 shoots to 5 years down the line with lots of work being published? You work, you make work, you practice. That is how you get better. And it doesn't have to take you 5 years to get from there from beginner to pro. It's easy. The more you shoot, the better you'll get. It's as simple as that. I found one of the things that really catapulted my work and really improved it very quickly was attending workshops with other photographers and learning from other pros. So I did 2, when I was in the UK, I did 2 day-long workshops with top lifestyle photographers, and that transformed my photography in one day because I got new techniques to use, new ways of shooting, new ways of looking at lighting, and in a day, it made my work better overnight. So it doesn't have to take you ages. The key here is making work and practicing. And you'll hear me talk a lot about creating new work because that really is key. Keep creating and you keep getting better. And the last piece with charging your worth is having the confidence to do so. As creatives, we're also always highly self-critical, right? The inner critic's constantly chirping away with, oh, that's not good enough, blah, blah, blah. So what you need to do is actually, the starting point here, if you're really battling with that, you're really battling with your own self-criticism, is to get some unbiased feedback on your work. Get a portfolio review. Often if you enter competitions, you'll get a portfolio review which will get input from top photographers who don't know you personally, so there's no bias anywhere with anything, and they'll be able to give you pointers. Working with a mentor is great. You can get unbiased, constructive feedback from somebody who's got more experience, who can say to you, love what you're doing with these images here. This is working brilliantly well, but you know what? If you just tweaked your lighting a little bit, if we worked with the exposure, if you adjusted your editing, if you kind of looked at your composition, it would be 1,000,000 times better. And from that point, you've got those pointers to be able to take away and put into the new work that you make. These changes don't have to take long and they're very easy to get hold of. You want to be creating a positive mindset. And I know that's kind of easier said than done. We are our own worst enemies when it comes to that. And basically in life and in your business, you'll get back what you put out. So if you're constantly being negative and worrying, there's not enough clients, not enough money, I'm not good enough, what you'll see is all of that reflected back to you. Clients who tell you you're too expensive, bookings that don't come through. You've got to change it and manifest something more positive. Now, I know that's easier said than done. You know, if you're feeling in the depths of despair, you can't just pull yourself together. It doesn't work like that, I know. So here's a couple of things you can do. Use positive affirmations. Basically, that's fake it till you make it. So whatever's going on that's not going so well for you, flip it on its head and make it into an affirmation. For example, I have a diary fully booked with clients who are amazing and pay me on time. Write it out, stick it on your computer, stick it on your mirror where you can see it. Spend less time focusing on what you're worried about and more time focusing on what you want and getting the right action steps in place that are going to take you in that direction. So the more confident you can be in your work, in your worth, the easier it is for you to sell your work. And selling your work is what I'm going to be talking to you about in video 3, which is dropping on Monday. So keep an eye out for that. Video 4 will be on Thursday next week. That's a registration only hour-long training. And I'll be also sharing details of how you can register for that on Monday. So pop me a comment, send me a DM, let me know what's going on for you, where you're struggling with your confidence, any tips you use to feel more confident, and I will see you in video 3.